imagine growing up as a young girl in a world where you live in constant fear. Ayaan spent most of her life in a small refugee camp in western Somalia, where Al-Shabaab, an Islamic terrorist group, holds control. As a young girl in this village, she endures harsh treatment. In such an environment, there is no space for hopes and dreams.
One night, I dreamt I was beside a magnificent lake in the desert. The water sparkled under the sun, and I was surrounded by water. I felt a sense of peace and joy that I had never known before. I heard a voice. It said, "My child, I am your father. I sent my one and only son to die for you. Love is what I am, not fear." The dream stayed with me, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was called for something greater. Every night I had this same dream. I asked my mother about it, and she told me to be fearful of the voice. I was not to tell anyone, as there would be severe consequences. I was desperate for answers, but I didn't know who to turn to.
One of my responsibilities is to respond to questions on our Facebook page. So, when I saw her message, I introduced myself as a CV pioneer, dedicated to sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ. She told me about the recurring dream and asked me to explain it to her. I said, Christians call God our Father. There is no room for fear in our faith. The voice you are hearing is from God. I shared John chapter 3 verses 16 to 18 with her, emphasizing that whoever believes in him is not condemned and should not fear. It was difficult for her to understand because all she knew was fear. Let us read the Gospel of John together, I said to her. She agreed and was very passionate about learning. We studied together for a month and a half when she suddenly went quiet and was no longer online. I heard nothing. I was very concerned for her safety. There were whispers of people who had tried to leave to seek a different faith, but they were quickly silenced. People here get killed for blasphemy. I was very fearful for her. All I could do was pray. I finally heard that she was safe. Her parents had taken her phone as punishment for not being obedient. She told me that she had managed to read the gospel. She understood that God is love and we are his children. She also learned that we have to love one another as he has loved us.
The more I learned, the more I felt the same peace I experienced when I heard the Lord's voice in my dream. My newfound faith brought me inner strength and joy, but also significant challenges. My immediate situation has not changed, but I have a peace I didn't have before. and I pray for a future where I will be safe to worship in the open. I hope that by sharing my story, others would come to know Jesus.
There are places in Somalia where terrorist cells rule with an iron fist, publicly stoning people to death for blasphemy. Social media ministry has become a powerful tool for us to reach people in these dangerous areas. We are making a lasting connection, and through the power and grace of God, lives are tangibly transformed for eternity.